Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Ellen Vandenbrink, and I'm a registered holistic nutritionist. And I'm very excited tonight to share with you how we can keep our joints healthy and deal with joint pain. Fortunately, myself, I was very lucky. I've been on the product since I was in my 30s, and I think because I took the omega-3s and the products, I've never had any joint issues at all. And even when I've had an injury, I recover so fast. But my husband wasn't so lucky. When he was 40, he actually blew his knee out. It was like so swollen. And when I said to him, I talked to him, he says, "Oh, I'm going to go to the doctor and find out what they say." So he goes and I said, "Well, just ask him what the side effects are of the medications they're recommending." So he comes back and he says, "Oh, they said I could burn a hole in my stomach and all this." So anyways, he decided to go ahead with what I was suggesting. He went on lots of salmon oil and flavonoids, and his knee completely came down. And although they had said he probably would have to have surgery, that was when he was 40 and he's now 64 and he's never had knee surgery. So that's, pretty exciting. So it just shows what you can do when your body has the right support. And to clarify, these products don't treat, diagnose, cure any disease, but it's amazing what the body can do when it has the right stuff. So tonight we're going to talk about cellular energy, bone, joint health, and muscle health, which is so important. And of course, the basis of this all is diet. You are what you eat, and the reality is 75% of all chronic diseases are preventable. And that's pretty exciting news to think that we do have some control over what we're going to go through. And one thing that I find with a lot of my clients is that sugar is a big culprit. And what a lot of people don't realize is this is why it's so dangerous, especially for people who are diabetic or pre-diabetic, or even people who eat a lot of sugar. It causes a lot of oxidative damage in the body, and it damages the muscles, the joints, the ligaments. So it's really important to try and get control of that and read your labels and make sure that you reduce the sugar in your diet.
Mary Ellen, would you say there's a lot of sugar that's also hidden? Because I know sometimes people say, well, I don't eat dessert. I don't put sugar in my coffee, but there's sugar in other forms, right?
Yeah, and that's the scary part. It's the hidden sugars. Like a lot of people don't realize it's in yogurts, it's in breads, it's in crackers. They hide it in everything. So again, it's not always what we add. And of course, this is the Canadian Food Guide, which was updated in 2019. And as you can see, this is how we need to eat to be healthy. Half of our plate should be those dark colored fruits and vegetables like carrots, broccoli, peas, all the dark colors. A quarter should be good quality protein foods. A quarter should be whole grains, which we're going to talk a lot about tonight because that's an area that's really difficult to get in our diet. And of course, we want to make water our drink of choice. So when I was first introduced to NeoLife, we knew there was things missing in our diet that were affecting our health. But actually, they just did this study and published it in Lancet. It was in 195 different countries. And what they showed is what we aren't eating that's killing us. And a lot of those nutrients they're talking about is things that NeoLife helps to fill the gap with. And Nana, do you want to share how these missing lipids and phytosterols from our whole grains are making such an impact on our health?
They sure are, Mary Ellen. And what's really interesting is, some of you know that 30 years ago, I was introduced to NeoLife and I was 25 and I had some of these health challenges in my 20s, like inflammation, digestion, allergies. And I didn't understand and realize that, I was eating whole grains, but I wasn't aware of what they were doing to the grain. And these lipids and phytosterols were being milled out of the grain, so our grains had a longer shelf life. And it played a big role in how I felt when it came to PMS, and also played a role in inflammation, caused more inflammation in the body. And I'm going to explain why as I go through along this some of these slides. But so this study that was published in Lancet, Mary Ellen, that you mentioned, they talked about what we aren't eating is actually killing us. And it was a global study. And they found that low whole grains, low fruit, nuts and seeds, low omega-3 and low vegetables were the things that we weren't eating enough of. So when you're looking at supplements, we need to fill the gap, and how do you fill these gaps? And, whole food supplements are important, but there's so many out there. Are they natural? Are they synthetic? Are they store-bought? And who do you really trust? And being a holistic nutritionist, you know what's out there, Marilyn. I know you have a lot of clients that come to you that have been taking supplements, and I've never taken supplements before NeoLife, but I watched my mom and they didn't make a difference at all until she tried the NeoLife supplements. So maybe you can explain a little bit about the difference.
Yeah, that's so true, Nada, because even when I took my holistic nutrition course, there is so many different products out there. There's professional lines, which basically just means they're marketing only to professionals. It doesn't necessarily mean the product is better. And then you get all the products in the stores, and everyone thinks, oh, it's in a store like GNC, it's better. But look at this. Washington Post actually published, a lot of them were accused of selling adulterated herbals. And Harvard scientists alerted the public there's speed-like ingredients in national health stores, including the Vitamin Shop. GNC had drug spike dietary supplements. So just because something's in a store does not necessarily mean it's safe. There's a certain criteria you have to look at when you're looking at a supplement. And that's what I found when I was introduced to NeoLife. It was actually a name I could trust. I was so impressed the fact when, the person who introduced me said, this product's been around since 1958 and they've never had a dietary recall. They have a pharmaceutical license for manufacturing, even though it's not required for supplements, they take that extra step. And in Canada, we have the NPN designation on all of the products. And it's in over 50 countries around the world and approved by every health board in all of those countries. So when you have integrity and a history like NeoLife does, based in nature, backed by science, it's no wonder that the products work the way they do. And what I loved is the fact that 100% what's on the label is in the bottle and nothing else, but also what's in the bottle gets into the body. And this is because of NeoLife Scientific Advisory Board. It was founded by Dr. ARTHRITIS, one of the top toxicologists in the world. And when he was actually the co-founder of oral chemotherapy. And when he was doing his research on cancer, he found nutrients in food to prevent disease. So that's why he joined up with NeoLife in the 1970s. And he set up our prestigious scientific advisory board of world-renowned scientists and researchers, not just good-looking doctors who endorse the products, actually scientists who work in the development. Some of our products take decades before they actually are released to us as a consumer. And they're very well known in scientific circles. They do a lot of work with the USDA, Center of Disease Control, New York Academy of Sciences. And what really impressed me is all the products are independently tested and published in peer-reviewed journals, like the New England Journal of Medicine and the American College of Nutrition. So there's really good evidence-based science behind these products. So when people ask me, well, what do you look for in a supplement? I say, well, the first thing you want to do is you want to find out what it's made from. Just because it says it's natural, it can be anything from the ground, like pine bark or ephedra, coal tar. I know a lot of those shiny vitamins, that's the coal tar coating that you see on them. And I know I was buying stuff like that before I was in NeoLife because I didn't understand. I couldn't understand why it was making my son sicker, right? But when I looked at NeoLife, I was really impressed because they're filling that gap of what we're not getting, the whole grains, the fruits and vegetables, the wild salmon, which that study proved that we need. And that's what NeoLife makes their products from. It's all whole food, human food, and it's non-GMO, gluten-free, and every product is tested to make sure that what's in the raw materials in the bottle is exactly what it says. And Nada, do you want to share how we can fill these gaps of our diet with our Pro Vitality?
Yes, this is the part that really made sense to me because, again, I thought I was eating healthy. I thought I was getting everything from my food. But even from that Lancet study, right, these are things that we're having a challenge, are the grain oils, the fruits and veggies, the omega-3 fish, and all of these nutrients are in this Pro Vitality. So it's a great foundation, helps to fill the nutritional gaps. And we're going to talk about these 4 products individually so you can understand what they do and why. So the whole grains, again, as Marilyn and we talked about earlier, they're no longer whole. Our breads last week's, our pasta last year's, our cereals last year's, because they have removed those critical oils. Those oils are gone. They leave you with processed flours, and it was deemed the most important health problem in America. So again, these are essential, and we have to get them from food, and they're no longer in our food. So tree and end grain concentrate is definitely the solution. And I'm going to share with you a very powerful story testimonial. When I was first introduced to NeoLife, I met the first lady that bought the first bottle of Tran grain concentrate, okay, Jeannie Aldridge. And I remember listening to her story, and she said to me, you got to get young people on this product. You got to get them on Tran. And she was crippled with rheumatoid arthritis as a young woman. And her husband brought home Tran, and it was, I'll tell you right now, he made her take a lot of this because that's all NeoLife had at the time. And in a very short time, she was pain-free, walking, and I met her years later dancing on the dance floor. So Tran grain concentrate is critical, and it was developed for a hospital research study with people that were suffering from chronic fatigue and depression. Now, how does that work? What's the relationship between inflammation, rheumatoid arthritis, and fatigue? Well, I'll tell you right now, big relationship between all of that. And the NeoLife Tran grain concentrate is made from whole grains, less gluten than a bowl of gluten-free cereal, and again, they stay within the human food chain. And we have trillions of cells, and every cell in your body is surrounded by that lipid layer. So nutrients can go in and waste can go out. So if you don't have these granules in your diet, you don't have the nutrients going in, you don't have the waste going out. So you have a lot of very tired and sluggish cells. And Texas A&M University, they proved that the Tran will help your cells utilize nutrients by 50% more, which is huge. So if you have a good diet, your cells will work better nutrient utilization. So that's what Tran does. Getting the cells healthy, getting inflammation down, really important. And the evil twins of aging are oxidation and inflammation. So now that you have your cells working properly, the membranes are healthy, nutrients are going in, waste is going out. Now we have to protect our cells. How do we do that? Fruits and vegetables, right? That was the other thing in the Lancet study we're not eating enough of. So carotenoids are what make your fruits and vegetables the dark colors. And this one product capsule in the Pro Vitality after a month is equivalent to consuming 80 pounds of raw fruits and vegetables in every box. Okay, so this is made from your tomatoes, carrots, peppers, spinach, apricots, peaches, so all those dark colored fruits and vegetables. And it was proven to boost your immune system 37% in just 20 days. So not only does it help with oxidative damage, but also helps protect your heart and immune function. So the other product that's in that little Pro Vitality packet is the salmon oil, the omega-3. And that plays a huge role in reducing inflammation, aches and pains, headaches. I know, Mary Ellen, this was a product that really helped you because you were a migraine sufferer for many years. Is that right?
Yeah, it's once I added the salmon oil, it took a bit of time, but the headaches got further and further apart till they were totally gone. And I haven't had one in like 26 years.
Yeah, and this is a product that really helped me with my arthritis in my knees and also in my joints because I played a lot of volleyball and basketball. But the key thing is it's tested for over 200 contaminants with an allowance of 0. It has all 8 omega-3 because when you eat a piece of salmon, there's 8 omega-3, not just EPA and DHA. So you're getting the whole family and the anti-inflammatory piece, which is really, really important. And that's how when people start taking our salmon oil from NeoLife, they get results. And it was clinically proven to reduce inflammation, again, 68% in just 8 weeks, and also fabulous for triglycerides and cholesterol, circulation. The other product that's in that Vitality Pack is a multivitamin. So we call it really a Cadillac of multis because you're getting your grain oil, you're getting your fish oil, you're getting your carotenoid, and you're getting a multivitamin in that pack. Okay, so this is kind of like your foundation and your core nutrition to get started. Okay, and then you can build on this by adding our amazing protein. So Mary Ellen, can you maybe, explain why protein plays a really big role, especially when we're looking at inflammation?
Yep, protein is so important. It actually means the #1 nutrient in the body. And you think this is why a lot of people are buying these collagen shakes and things because they think that, you need these amino acids to produce collagen, which is the foundation for our joints. But you think about it, if you have all 22 amino acids and biologically complete protein, your body's going to produce collagen in the way you need it naturally. It makes so much more sense. And it's also important for immune system. And when you look what's inside this product, like It's all natural. Like, you know, you can
Ah,
give this to
yeah.
babies.
Your food.
I've been using this. I've been using this product, you know, since my grandkids could sip out of a sippy cup, and it's biologically complete with all 22 because you need them all. And it's actually tested. It has a protein quality score, and what that means is to show how well it's absorbed in the body. Because if protein's not absorbed, it's almost a toxin to the body. There's 18 grams as a branched chain amino acids, 5 grams of fiber, and it controls blood sugar, which is so important, and 25 essential vitamins and minerals. So it's power packed and whole food antioxidants. And the nice thing is it helps because it keeps your blood sugar in the zone, it burns fat, and it helps with weight management. A lot of people don't realize that even if for every pound you're overweight, you put 5 pounds of pressure on your knees and your joints. So by managing your weight, you take that, you know, at least that one area off to give your body a break. And the nice thing about the NeoLife shake is you still eat 5 times a day. We give you a little list of foods to avoid, foods to enjoy, which all work in with the diabetic diet to keep blood sugar steady. So if you have a shake for breakfast and you can see a healthy snack, they have a suggestion here of like some strawberries and almonds. And you can either do a healthy lunch or another shake for lunch, depending on how much weight you need to lose. You can do a healthy snack and then a healthy dinner. So it's very easy to follow. You can do it with your family. And one of the stories that really impressed me was Carlos. He actually lost 251 pounds in 26 months. But I remember speaking to him and he told me, you know, his daughter was so concerned because he was diabetic, he had high blood pressure, he had all these, you know, what they call comorbidities, sort of metabolic diseases. And she said to him, you know, you're not going to even make it to my wedding if you don't change your lifestyle. So he got on board, he started doing the NeoLife shake. And, you know, after, and even now to this day, he is still fit, he can exercise, he's enjoying his family. So it's life-changing for him. So, you know, and not everyone has 251 pounds to lose, but, you know, sometimes even losing that 10 pounds that you need to lose can be challenging, but the product puts the body in balance so you can do that. And, you know, Nada, we now have another alternative, which I'm super excited about. Would you like to share it?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this product actually, Mary Ellen. You know, I've been drinking the NeoLife shake, as you know, for 30 years. So I actually enjoy this for lunch now. I do put greens in it because sometimes I just find I'm just so busy just to sit and prepare and make a meal and have lunch. And I love this product. And one thing I really enjoy is there's a lot of research behind the ingredients in this product for fat burning, especially around the belly area. So anyways, I'm excited about this product. But the main thing is it's great for people that don't want soy and don't want dairy. So it's plant-based, again, a vegan protein. And even if you're not vegan, you can still enjoy it. It's just it's another biologically complete protein, 18 grams, plant-based superfood protein blend, 21 amino acids, that has a branched chain amino acids, healthy fat blend, and less than 0.5 grams of sugar added. And phytoenzymes, again, for digestion. So it just helps with breaking it down properly, has your vitamins and minerals. So it is a complete meal replacement as well. So we can replace the NeoLife shake if you're looking at a plant-based protein, or you can have it as an add-on. So just another option for those of you that are really looking for a plant-based product. So we have like personalized nutrition and targeted solutions. And, you know, we've talked about the Pro Vitality and the shakes, and that we call that a breakfast pack, which is a great place to start. And then if you're dealing with a lot of inflammation, like with Carlos or like my mom, and I'm going to have Cyndy share her story a little bit later as well, and Wen and Gay, there's other products and other nutrients that we might need to add or increase because of the type and the amount of inflammation in our body. So, and also our bones need to be strengthened as well. So Mary Ellen, if you want to share a little bit about the importance of keeping our bones healthy.
Yes, that's so important because a lot of people don't realize that, like the next slide showed, it affects all areas of our body, you know, or because I know Paulo, he used to stand all day. He worked on the line in Chrysler, right? And his feet, he was getting so much pain. And by adding the calcium, it actually helped his feet rebalance. So it affects all areas of our body. You can see here our ribs, our pelvis, our knees, our hands, our shoulders. And that's what you hear people complain about all the time. So to give you guys a little bit of trivia, how many bones are there in the human body? Like, do you have any idea? It's a pretty big number. 206. So that's a lot of bones. So we need to give a lot of support to our foundation, that's for sure. And the human body is composed of 270 bones at birth, but this decreases to 206 by adulthood after some of the bones fuse together. And the bone mass on the skeleton reaches maximum density about age 30. This is why it's so important for young girls to have calcium up to that age, because if they don't have it, they lose that window. And healthy, strong bones are solid and dense structure, which allows for an active lifestyle. So what's one of the most common bone problems? Osteoporosis. And what's that? It literally means your bones are porous. And it's a disease in which the density and quality of the bone are reduced. And I know, Nada, your mom was diagnosed with osteopenia, right? Which is like the precursor to osteoporosis.
She sure was. And, it was interesting because she had a great diet. She didn't eat any sugar, and she exercised quite regularly, especially being in the garden and doing yoga and everything. And there was just something missing. And, we looked at, they wanted to put her on some medication, and then she decided to try some of the NeoLife products. It took about a year, but her bone density came back, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and that's what's so exciting, because what a lot of people don't realize is there's a lot of side effects with those medications. And not only that, if you want to travel and you've been on those medications, you're now at high risk for, you can't get travel insurance, or you pay really, really high rates. And as bones, so the osteoporosis, as bones become more porous and fragile, this is what increases our risk of fractures. And the loss of bone occurs silently. So when people get your calcium tested in your blood, it always is going to be normal, because the blood steals it from the bone. That's why they call it the silent disease. And so usually the first sign of it is a fracture, like, where they break very easily. And so by 2020, half of all North Americans age 50 and older will be at risk for fractures from osteoporosis or low bone mass. And it's considered by medical science to be a universal disease, meaning everyone's going to get it, and affects over 600,000 people worldwide. And what does it cost? $250 billion a year, so huge. And you hear that so often when an elderly person, they'll fall, they'll break their hip, and they have to have a hip replacement. And a lot of times they do not recover very well after that. It kind of is the turning point to them going downhill. So important. But the good news is it's not all doom and gloom. Science shows we can slow and halt its progression. And how? Exercise, of course, and a healthy diet. You do have to do bone or weight-bearing exercise, even if you take calcium, in order to absorb it. Very, very important. And eat healthy. So exercise for bone health, vital at every age. It's important for treating and preventing osteoporosis. It increases muscle strength, because sarcopenia is what a lot of times when people lose their muscle in their arms, that's why the protein's so important. And it's important for coordination and balance, so that you don't fall, and leads to better overall health. And the best exercise for bones, of course, as I mentioned, is weight bearing, which forces you to work against gravity. And some examples of this are weight training, walking, hiking, jogging, climbing stairs, tennis, and dancing. And swimming does not give you weight bearing. That's one thing you have to keep in mind. So what are some of the key nutrients? Well, calcium is critical for development and maintenance of our bones and teeth, of course. And magnesium helps keep your bones strong, also helps you absorb calcium, which is super, super important. And vitamin D promotes calcium absorption. And that's why all three of those are in NeoLife's CalMag: calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. It also does a lot of other functions in the body people don't realize, like it supports our heart, our muscles. It's essential for proper, as I mentioned, heart health, muscle contraction, relaxation, transmission of nerve impulses. So I know when people have had nerve damage, the calcium magnesium plays a big role. And the problem is, as we age, it does get more difficult to absorb calcium, because we're lacking that hydrochloric acid in the stomach. So that's why sometimes adding beta just helps you absorb it better. And magnesium for bone health and more. It maintains healthy heart, immune function, promotes normal blood pressure, very, very important. And also even your heartbeat, it has a role in that. I remember Dr. Liz Applegate talking about how she had a bit of an irregular heartbeat and she took magnesium. It's important for healthy muscle and nerve function. I have so many people, if they wake up during the night with those terrible muscle cramps in their calves and stuff, just taking either the CalMag or the magnesium just turns their health around, and it supports energy metabolism and protein synthesis. In fact, it's involved in over 800 functions in the body. So vitamin D is for bone health, but a lot more too. It's also linked to heart disease, autoimmune, cancer, depression, osteoporosis, and now we know the immune system, super, super important. And that's why you're hearing so much about vitamin D right now on the news with everything going on. And we do need 5 to 30 minutes of direct sun exposure on face, arms, back, and legs without sunscreen. And, you know, today was kind of a nice day, but even so, we weren't laying out in a bikini. We still aren't really getting 20 minutes of sun. So this is where supplementation plays a big role. And as people age, the amount of vitamin D made in the skin after sunlight does decline. So for someone like me in my 60s, I probably don't make it like somebody in their 20s, right? And this is why I was so excited when NeoLife introduced our vegan D, because it's all plant-based and, you know, it's made from reindeer lichen and mushrooms, so it's whole food and it's absorbed so well in the body and it's very small, super easy to take. And so even children can take it, and it's an amazing product. And for our calcium magnesium, what makes this a little unique is it's actually amino acid chelated. So that means it's absorbed 5 times better in the body than normal calcium. Because a lot of people will say, oh, I can go to the drugstore and get this, you know, calcium. But when you actually look at how much you're absorbing out of it, it's really expensive calcium, because you'd have to take, you know, 5 times as much as you do with the NeoLife to get the same results. And the chelated CalMag is pharmaceutically pure calcium. It's 2-to-1 ratio of calcium magnesium. With 3 tablets, you get 1,000 international units of vitamin D, and it's got that double amino acid chelation, which was developed by Dr. Arthur first. And as I mentioned, it increases the absorption of minerals. So that's the key. Like if you're not absorbing it, that's where you hear the negativity about calcium, because a lot of times that product that's that caltrate that's recommended by the doctors, it's not chelated, it's not absorbed, and it causes, you know, your body can't break it down. So that's where the issue, where this is like a whole food calcium.
You know, Mary Ellen, funny you say that, because I mean, over the last 30 years, I have met so many people that have tried other calcium products, even the ones that prescribe from the doctors, and the bone density doesn't get any better. And then after a year on the NeoLife calcium magnesium, they're in awe at the bones getting stronger with age. So definitely proof that the NeoLife calcium has a higher absorption rate.
And with the bones too, it's not just bone density, it's bone strength. And this is where it plays a role, because, you know, like I'm a small build, so my bones might not be as dense as someone else, but my bones are very strong. And unfortunately, you know, I challenged them a few times and not had any big incidents, but, you know, but it's true. I've never broken anything, even though I slipped on the ice and whacked my head on the concrete and everything else outside in our thing. So, you know, it's true, right? And our magnesium complex too, you can see it's got whole food, it's got different sources of magnesium, it's absorbed so well in the body. And I know my neighbor across the street used to get really bad muscle cramps, and she said she tried all sorts of different types of magnesium. This is the only one that ever worked for her. So, so do you want to share, Nada, joint health, about what, you know, to share a little bit more info about joints for us?
Yeah, this is a product that, oh my gosh, I can just share testimonial after testimonial. And this is one of my favorites as well, because I was very active as a young teenager, a lot of sports, volleyball, basketball, and my knees, they were compromised. I had to stop all high impact sports and resorted to speed walking. And I really missed my step aerobics and all those high impact sports for a few years. And then I learned a little bit more about the NeoLife product. So, you know, where the joint, what is a joint? And this is what I want you to understand, that, you know, it's where 2 or more bones come together, and some range of motion is needed for them to fulfill their action, right? So they bend, right? Up and down or around. And, you know, joints are made up of bones, ligament, tendon, bursa, and cartilage. And cartilage is something that I really want to focus on. And they give us flexibility and mobility. And this is so important to keep that going. And 1 in 5, over 6 million Canadians have arthritis. Okay. So when you're looking at joint pain and stiffness, it affects half of adults. Okay. So, and this is something that is preventable and that you can slow down this degenerative process with good nutrition. But cartilage is key. Cartilage, lubricating, weight bearing, friction eliminating, shock absorbing tissue that is key to the joint's amazing function, okay? It allows us to walk tens of thousands of miles in our lifetime in complete comfort. It facilitates millions of jaw motions for talking, chewing, and smiling, okay? So this cartilage is important. We want to make sure it's there as we age. So when you're looking at osteoarthritis, it's different than rheumatoid arthritis, okay? So osteo is more degenerative, painful inflammation and stiffness of the joints resulting from a breakdown of cartilage tissue, okay? So the joint on the left is normal, and the joint on the right, you can see the cartilage is thinning, and there's little fragments that are happening, okay? So the key nutrients for joint health, for range of motion and flexibility: zinc, okay, again, helps with growth and involved in collagen synthesis. Boron, it's a mineral, it reduces calcium loss and bone demineralization. Silica supports bone growth. Glucosamine, required to make new cartilage. This is key. And omega-3 supports a healthy balance of inflammation and anti-inflammatory factors. So these are the key nutrients to keep our bones and our joints flexible, okay, and healthy. So the benefits of glucosamine: slows down the breakdown of cartilage, help repair and rebuild, regenerate cartilage, okay, to reverse the osteoarthritis process. Reduce pain and other symptoms, so comfort, flexibility, and mobility. So this full motion product, when they launched it in Canada many years ago, this is a product that my mom was asked to be a test study for. And I was so grateful because she had problems with her fingers and her toes, and the salmon oil was helping, but there was still a little bit of stuff going on, and it would still take her a little while in the morning to strengthen her fingers and her toes. And when she added this full motion product, what a difference. Incredible. She doesn't have any symptoms in her fingers and her toes, and she turned 75 this year. So this is going back many, many years ago. And it provides 1,500 milligrams of glucosamine, pharmaceutically pure, biologically functional. There's a lot of products out there that don't work, okay? Because I've met so many people that take different glucosamines and they don't get the results. And when they try this product, they get results. And you know what? I like to say this is a product that will help you, you know, if you're active, you can stay active as you age. So I'd love to have when you shared an amazing story today, because I know you work out quite regularly because you're on the fitness workouts with Josh and Chelsea every morning. They use weights. There's a lot of, a lot of squatting and things like that. So how has the full motion impacted your life and helped you with your fitness performance? You gotta unmute, hon. Unmute.
Waste of words. I've always been an active person since my late teens, more active than ever, and all my life. And I think it started in my 50s with some bone loss. So I do have osteopenia, but it's stable because I take all of the products you've talked about tonight. But full motion has really made a difference to my hips because I had severe hip pain. In fact, when a friend of mine was having a hip replacement, I thought that I should have it looked at as well, because if she needed it, I might too. We were the same age. So I did actually ask my nurse practitioner if I could have a full bone x-ray of my hips and low back, and that turned out that I didn't have any osteoporosis at all, but I must have had a lot of inflammation there because I literally had to throw myself out of bed in the morning. I was in such pain and agony from the stiffness of sleeping, and then getting out of bed was just like one of those things. Well, since I've been on salmon oil and full motion, I've had no problems with my joints, bones, and yes, I have been doing the NeoFit body workouts for over a year now. I'm very proud of that, and I love it. So never give up your exercise.
And can we share, because you do not look your age. I mean, when we came to celebrate your birthday was it last year? We drove out there to.
It was. You're going to out me.
Yes.
I am 70 years old, or 70 years young.
70 years young, and her muscles, you should see her arms. We should get her to flex for you. Woo-hoo! Look at that. Thank you so much, Wen. No, it's
You're
so
welcome.
important. I mean, I like to say you're aging gracefully.
I like to say that too.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. So wonderful. I'm not too far behind you, so I'm actually excited that that you shared that with us. So let's talk a little bit about the fast-acting herbal comfort complex. So there's other nutrients in this product, the bromelain, the white willow, the boswellia. It works immediately, boosting the body's natural anti-inflammatory capacity, providing added comfort. What's really neat is I've had people add the glucosamine to their program and they notice a difference, but when they notice a big difference is when they run out. And it's within a few days, they notice a little bit of that inflammation coming back. And this product is definitely fast acting, so activating. So I'm really excited. This is one of my favorite products, Regenerative Mineral Complex. Okay. It has the zinc, the boron, the silica, minerals, again, necessary for cartilage and growth and maintenance. So such an incredible product. Optimal bioavailability. So the body uses the nutrients to the fullest, which is why this product works. So when you marry it with the salmon oil, the omega-3, all 8 parts, the 2 together, amazing for inflammation. And I'm going to have Gay share her story, who has a really great story on the full motion as well. Gay, you have to unmute too.
I did. Hello. When I've got 10 years on you, I was 80 this year. But anyway, I have a condition known as TIA, which is a trans-ischemic accident, which means you have little mini strokes in your brain. It doesn't do much, it just stops you. And I never forget the first time it happened to me. I was crossing Highway 11 one night. I used to teach stained glass, and I'd gone and got some groceries and came back, and in the middle of Highway 11, I went down. And you don't know you're going down. You get nothing. You get no warning. Just all of a sudden, there you are, 2 inches from the ground. And I had cars bobbing around me, and I picked up my groceries, and I'd broken my ankle at that point. And it was interesting, but nobody really told me what was wrong with me. And that was 1988. And back when my husband died in 2007, and I started having a lot of. I would stagger a bit, and I was having more of the TIAs, which we hadn't been diagnosed yet, and it got really scary. So we fast forward to about 2017, and Lynn Mittenoff introduced me to NeoLife, and I started out with just the regular the breakfast pack, and added a few things, but nothing much. And I guess when I fall, I started having more falls. And when I fall, I lead with my face. I always lead with my face and my left hand. So I've shattered my wrist several times. My face has always been, as one friend said to me one day, because it happened just after Halloween, he said, I don't know why you waited till Friday to do it. You wouldn't have had to put any makeup on for Halloween. Thank you. But anyway, they finally sent me to a neurologist, and he put me through all sorts of things, and he put me on blood thinners, and that helped. But I really didn't know what I was going to do about it. And then at one point when I fell, I fractured my kneecap, and it was just, as the doctor said to me, well, it's just cracked, don't worry about it. My family doctor was getting upset because that was the bone guy's idea. And another doctor, when I was in the hospital, said, you have to go back and have it looked at again. And the doctor looked at me and he said, when you get to the point where you cannot stand the pain any longer, then I'll look at it. And I thought, I can't do this. I mean, I'm bad enough being dizzy. I don't need all that extensive pain. So Lynn Mittenoff, who is my upline, said to me, you know, why don't you try full motion? And I said, okay. So I tried full motion and I found it really helped. I didn't have the pain the same way. And I, you know, while I still I've fractured my left wrist twice, and I mean, severely fractured it. And I mean, it would ache with various times, but it's helped a lot with that. And I've added extra
Salmon oil.
extra salmon oil, and lately I'm adding Trey-NN, and it's made a world of difference.
You know what I would like to add, Gay, to that is, you know what, there's so many conditions that sometimes are, you know, you can't really reverse certain conditions.
No, you can't reverse it, but it holds it in place.
Definitely when you're adding good nutrition, when you're dealing with healing and inflammation and genetic, you know, disorders or neurological disorders, by adding some of these products, it just helps to give better quality of life. And that's what these products will do, better quality of life.
And that's what it's done. It hasn't cured it. I mean, I don't know if the crack is still there. They haven't x-rayed me again, but I don't have the pain with it. I'm so much more comfortable with it, and I make sure I take it. And you know, as I say, I just added Trey to the Trey-NN to the mix, and it's made a major difference.
Thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate that. Awesome. Thank you. So salmon oil, all 8 omega-3s. You know, it's completely high potency, North Atlantic salmon, cold pressed, tested for 200 contaminants, I think, which is so important, and clinically proven to work, okay, because it does reduce inflammation, 68% in just 8 weeks. So when you're looking at, the Gay talked about the breakfast pack, right? Then she added some salmon oil and the full motion. So these are the things that, you know, you can add to really give yourself the optimal, okay, nutrition, especially if you're dealing with a lot of inflammation and a lot of pain. Sometimes a breakfast pack alone is great and people get results. So really, you really got to give it a fair try and see what helps you. But then there's other forms of arthritis, Mary Ellen, and we talked about, or other inflammatory conditions. And, you know, we talked more about osteo and bone and degenerative and cartilage, but there's another form, and that's when I shared with you about Jeannie Aldrich with her rheumatoid arthritis and the grain oils playing a really big role in helping her with her immune system and getting her rheumatoid arthritis under control. So maybe if you can explain maybe a little bit about the difference and how, you know, how the products can help in that area as well.
Yeah, that's so true, Nada, because osteoarthritis is wear and tear, where rheumatoid is more of an autoimmune disease. So what's happening is the body is attacking itself. And a lot of this comes from our gut, from our microbiome. Because what happens if the food particles start floating around the body, they attach to the different joints, and the body thinks it's a foreign thing, so it attacks it and creates inflammation. So this is why it has to be treated a little bit different. You have to definitely go to digestion. So with autoimmune, you know, sort of the medical type treatment is, oh, your immune system is overreacting, we just shut it down. But the problem is the immune system does have a role in the body. It protects us from cancer, from viruses, from bacteria. So I kind of think of in autoimmune, it's more of a damaged immune system. So that's why, like, you know, the carotenoids, they kind of, you know, hit the immune system over the head and say, stop, you know, causing this aggravating factor. Like, you know, let's balance our immune system, reduce the inflammation, and reduce the pain, right? Factors that, you know, can play a role is diet, food sensitivities. A lot of times different foods will create inflammation. Environmental things like pets, dust. You hear a lot of people get exposed to mold and they have a lot of these things. A lot of the pain medications that you're on are very hard on the gut. In fact, you know, even an aspirin can cause a GI bleed if it's, you know, if it's not taken properly. And then the overgrowth of all this bacteria, because a healthy gut is a healthy you. And I do find with a lot of people with autoimmune, if you get these food sensitivities under control and get their gut working, they find that it kind of goes to sleep. You don't cure it, but it's in remission. And so the body doesn't affect. And I know fibromyalgia is a huge problem. It's so common. That's what your mom had, right, Nada? And some of the signs of that are pain everywhere in the body, muscle spasms, tenderness, chronic fatigue, a lot of bowel issues. See, again, that gut, because it's a bit of an autoimmune type thing. So you get the IBS, which is that umbrella. When they don't really know what's wrong with your gut, they just kind of pop you into that sort of IBS category. Restless leg syndrome, depression, brain fog. And some of the theories for cause are like stress, physical or mental. A lot of people after a car accident, it'll trigger it off. Post-traumatic stress and genetics, of course, play a role. And so what can we do? Some of the natural things to help with it. Adequate rest and sleep are crucial. You have to let your body heal. But the problem with fibromyalgia is a lot of people can't sleep, you know? So that's where our Aloe plays a big role. Gentle exercise, stretching, clean diet. Definitely, you don't want processed foods and junk. Supplements play a role, and we'll talk a little bit. Some of the NeoLife ones is, of course, the foundation, the breakfast pack, which is the Pro Vitality and Shake, extra salmon oil, full motion, and of course, the digestive aids, and especially the Aloe and Acidophilus. And of course, the difference with the NeoLife Acidophilus, because a lot of people tell me, oh, I've taken Acidophilus for years, I don't notice the difference. It's a comprehensive probiotic that supports natural digestive tract harmony, comfort, and efficiency. Again, it's whole food. It's the concentrated active cultures. I remember I was sitting on the beach of Florida one time, and this girl saying, oh, I just buy my Acidophilus from Walgreens. And the girl that was sitting beside her goes, oh, didn't you see in the paper the other day that somebody got a bacterial infection because the product wasn't pure? And I'm like, oh, bonus, right? And it's unique intestine targeted. So again, if those bacteria don't get right down into the right area, most of it's destroyed by the stomach acid. And it has 5 billion live microorganisms. Again, all 5 million get down there. I see a lot of products with all these billions, but they're not tested to make sure it gets down into the gut. And proprietary blend of 5 types of clinically proven probiotics, the ones that we are meant to have as a human. And GelGuard enteric protection system that was developed by Dr. ARTHRITIS, of course. And so you think about it, if you have one of those Acidophilus, because people say to me, well, can I just not eat yogurt? And I said, well, one of them is like 10 servings of yogurt. So if you need 2 to 4 a day, that's a lot of yogurt you have to eat in a day. And again, there's no guarantee that you can get down there. And also all that dairy is not always optimum as well, because you don't want to have too much dairy when you have inflammation in the body. And one of my favorites is the aloe vera juice. And why should we consume it? It's proven to help with, I know I've had little kids with constipation. You do the aloe and the acidophilus, and it just turns their health around, immune system, normal blood sugar levels, respiratory support, if you got a lot of mucus, soothes digestion. I remember I had a little girl, and they wanted to do all this upper GI and lower GI. She was only like 7 or 8. And I said, why don't you just try some acidophilus and aloe? Let's just see what happens. And she wrote me this little card, you know, she said, I can't believe it helped me so fast, you know, type thing. So, you know, sometimes, you know, doing stuff like this, I'm not saying there isn't a place to have this type of testing done, but sometimes, you know, if you can just calm the digestive system down, it's not necessary. And of course, it helps with inflammation, which is so, so important. And reduce feelings of stress. Stress creates inflammation, no, definitely.
I think this is maybe where we can ask Cyndy Hadley to come on, because she has an amazing story, because she had IBS, but had suffered from pain for years. Hey, Cyndy, you want to share a little bit about your fibromyalgia journey?
Yes, thank you, Nada. Yeah, I had not all of those symptoms, but I had a lot of the symptoms that Mary Ellen had listed. For me, it was the tissue pain, muscle pain, the IBS as well. And when I started on the products, I actually didn't think it was going to do anything for what I was going through. I got more for my children and just, you know, for ourselves to have, you know, good nutrition. But within 3 weeks, the fatigue that I was suffering with as well was gone. And in a month and a half, so about 6-7 weeks, the chronic pain I had lived with for 5 years was gone. And during that 5 years, I have been going to chiropractors and doctors trying to get, and I was taking other supplements too, but nothing was working. But when you talk about the aloe, that is something I keep in the fridge. Just, you know, if I'm having trouble sleeping during the night, I get up and have a couple of ounces of that, and yeah, good to go. And but the salmon too, you talked about needing some extra products. And so I basically took what would be kind of equal to our breakfast pack now, plus the extra salmon. So that is one of my favorite products for sure. So, and yeah, getting that IBS under control, just, it gives you your life back too.
Absolutely. And I like to say you're aging gracefully too, Cyndy.
Yeah, well, Gwen will always be about 1.5 years, I guess, ahead of me, but but she does look fabulous. I was there at her birthday, and yeah, she doesn't. I think you look at least 10 years younger, at least.
Woo! That's great. Thank you so much, Cyndy, for sharing. Oh, sorry, there we go. So Marilyn talked about the aloe and the acidophilus. And so, I mean, the core nutrition is what? The Pro Vitality, adding the shakes as the breakfast pack, and then you've got those other stack on products if you need them, okay? So we just wanted to give you a better understanding on how you can use these products and when you can add them if need be, okay? So there's a core nutrition is our breakfast pack. And when you get a breakfast pack, you get 2 different shakes. So you can get the same flavor or 2 different flavors, but it's definitely a great place to start. And how do you get started, right? Well, we have what we call a wellness club. And what's really nice about the club, it's free to join. And as soon as you join, you get a 15% discount. And to get the products wholesale, all you have to do is have the breakfast pack or the Vitality pack on auto ship. So as soon as you put on auto delivery, you get wholesale price. And when you stay on auto ship, for example, that Vitality pack is a month supply. The breakfast pack is a month supply. If you keep up that on auto delivery, you get all your shipping back in 6 months. So it's a great way to get your shipping back. I know a lot of customers don't like paying for shipping. And also if you refer 3 people to one of those health packs, yours is free every single month. So we have helped so many people get their health packs free. Then there's also fitness challenges and weight loss challenges that you can join, especially if you feel that you need to be accountable. Okay, so it's a great group. So these are the different health packs. You have your Vitality pack, you have your breakfast pack, which is definitely the best seller. And then the weight loss pack is when you're doing your 2 shakes a day, if you really want to aggressively lose some more weight or faster weight. So these are the 3 different health packs that you can, if you do refer 3 to one of those health packs, again, yours is free every single month, okay? There's also an amazing group called NeoLife Healthy Living Community North America. We have over 8,000 members that are in this group now. And the stories and the testimonials that are shared in this group is incredible. So if you'd like to learn more and hear these stories and read some of these testimonials, we can invite you to this group as long as you're Facebook friends with whoever is inviting you. So it's just a great group to learn a little bit more about the products. And then there's one more option that we're not going to get into a lot of detail right now. After we're done this session, we're going to stop the recording, open up to questions, to product and health questions. And then we'll unpause and go back. And for those of you that are interested in this one more option, where if you or someone you know really enjoys helping others and impacting people's lives, there's an incredible business opportunity. And if you'd like to learn more, just stick around a little bit later and you'll hear how incredible the business is if you can use a little extra income part-time or something full-time as well. So thank you for joining us. If you're looking at using the products, if you'd like to learn more, please stick around. So I will stop the recording. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you everybody for your amazing testimonials and stories shared tonight. Hang on.